Hey, Dave. Hello, how are you?
Good morning.
Good to see you. It's still morning for another minute, right? Mm.
Yep, good morning.
When the bells ring. David, thank you for sending those photos over. Think we got enough to get some good stuff rolling. And Jim, I appreciate your notes. And Rob, looks like you guys were at the same conference, which is always a good thing. So it's going to be a fun and interesting session. And we'll wait just a second. We'll go around and do some intros and we're going to do recording so we can capture every word and expression. How's that? Are people able to see the screen? I have a PowerPoint on.
Yes.
I
Yep.
always wonder. We have had, I guess maybe with the rain, such issues this week with Zooming. So if it goes strange, we just zoom out and come back. So I think everybody's getting, oh, and George is here. Hey, George.
Oh.
Yeah, come on.
So
Great.
I have high noon. What do you have, Angela, George?
I have noon. High
There we
noon.
go.
Hey, David, how are you? Beth and Emily, we're all here.
I'm just gonna get my phone on silence. Good. And Rob, I'm glad you're able to join us as well. So thank you for whatever you had to cancel to get out of whatever's
No.
going or whatever other phones
Oh, hey, Rob.
It had to do with the rain, so we benefit.
Oh, yeah.
Man, we did need the rain, though.
Really? Did we? This
Yes.
much? This much? Really? Oh, Jenkins Arboretum, Tom Selleck. Yes, we did need the rain. Oh,
Hey, Penny Hunt, how are you?
I'm good. It's good to be here. I'm finally caught up with you guys.
This is Angela Scully, George Elser's wife.
Oh, I was thinking of you and your lovely watercolors just the other day.
Oh, well, thank you.
she is a plein air award-winning artist, isn't she? Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
excellent.
How about we go around and do a little intro of who you are and what brings you here today? I'm Karen Simmons. I head the Community Foundation, and we're also trying to coordinate the 250th initiative for Chester County. Angela is my
So, Angela Scully, Karen has hired me out of retirement for Chester County 250, and I'm working on outreach and resources for our historic sites, our many historic sites in Chester County.
very good. David, see you're, I'm just going to go around my screen.
Hello, everyone. I'm David Blackburn. I'm the Heritage Preservation Coordinator for Chester County and the Chester County Planning Commission, and I'm serving as the county, I guess I'll call it the county coordinator for America 250.
There you go. And Jim Garrison.
Hi, Jim Garrison, East Pikeland Township and Chester County 250 and otherwise retired. Hooray.
How many weeks has it been since you retired now? 4, 8, 12?
End of June.
It's still new.
Every day Saturday. We're good. All right, Rob Williams, I know you're not retired yet.
So Rob Williams, Tredyffrin Township Historic Commission, also a member of the Chester County 250, and also working with the Chester County Historic Preservation Network, which is the historical commissions that are part of the municipalities.
Had your hair. And Mark Slough, I see you just zoomed in.
Mark Slough, Chester County 250 Commission, president of Friends of Martin's Tavern in Marshallton, and so on and so on. To Jim Garrison, Jim, everybody I know that's retired is working harder in retirement than when they were. So hopefully you will follow that trail with the 250, et cetera, et cetera.
He is. You just don't know how you fit it all in before you were retired, right? That's what I hear. All
So,
right.
Karen, real quick, I have to get to a meeting at some point. I'm waiting for a call. So I may be cutting out of here.
When you disappear, be forewarned that we're recording, so you'll have all the details, all right?
Will do.
Great, thank you. And then Penny, can you introduce yourself?
Penny Hunt, and I'm retired, but now have many, many, many other jobs. And I'm on the board of French Pickering Creek's Conservation Trust.
Very
And
good.
I've been president, but thank God I'm not now. It goes on to others. And but I'm chair of the program committee and chair of the canon committee. And we have these fabulous 4 cannons from the Revolutionary War that were dug up on the spot. And we're anxious to share them with people through this celebration.
How do you share a cannon? Do I dare ask that?
Yeah, we have one on wheels.
Okay.
So the cannon on wheels can be taken to various sites and festivals and whatever, and set up with signage and the whole shebang. So it's easy. One is under cover at our preserve, the Bentley Preserve. One it has been given and is in the throes of being mounted at the Chester County Historical Society, and one is on long-term loan to a benefactor.
Beautiful. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Because people have been asking about how to grab your cannon.
Sure.
So, Emily, I forgot to say, can you take notes for the whiteboard, Emily, too? Heads up. So that would be great. And Zach, how about you from Historic Sugartown?
Oh, nope, I'm Barry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I replaced Zach about 2.5 weeks ago. So I'm
Oh,
the new
thank
I'm the new
you.
executive director at Historic Sugartown.
Really nice to
welcome.
meet you.
Barry,
Nice
my
to meet you.
gosh. Okay, what's your last name, Barry?
Rauhauser.
Oh, that's going to be a hard one to spell in kindergarten, but we'll figure it out.
Rauhauser.
Okay, thank you. So you've been at Historic Sugartown for 2 weeks.
Yes, yeah.
Then we have to come out and see you. Come on,
It's a
Angela.
great place. Yeah, certainly
Yeah,
come out and visit
definitely.
and knock on the door and say hi.
Mhm.
Very good. Good, good, good. I'm glad you're here. And I see Laura Kennedy.
Hi, I'm Laura Kennedy. I'm the advancement manager for Founding Forward in Valley Forge.
Laura.
Hi, Angela. I saw
And
Angela at the convening of the states last weekend, so that was
very
lovely.
good. Okay, glad you're here. Tom Smar, Jenkins.
Yeah, thank you. You probably know my other colleague, Stephanie Kuhn-Holmes, attended a few of these meetings. I just thought I'd poke in to see what's going on. We're here at Jenkins Arboretum and Gardens.
Tom.
And we look at Valley Forge actually right across the valley. So we feel like we're also going to be celebrating our 50th anniversary that year. So we have our own celebration that we hope to tie in.
Very good.
Angela Scully's on our board, so we got her.
You gotta
So
come
many
here then.
connections.
B. Sheedy. Are you Mark B. Sheedy or no?
No, just Bob.
Bob. Okay. What brings you here, sir?
I'm Kennett Township Historic Commission.
I live in Kennett. I should know you, Bob. You were sitting next to me at the table at Thornbury. That's it. We got to catch up. All right.
I leave a memorable, and I am also retired, although I prefer to say dutifully unemployed.
Okay.
But one of the many things we're doing, and I agree with the comment that it is actually, I work harder now than when I was employed.
You work longer and more joyfully, hopefully, even
It
better.
is.
Yeah.
I like
yeah,
that description.
yeah. And Hank Summer, I see you here. Oh, you have to unmute yourself, Hank. Are you able to unmute?
Working. There we go.
You got
Hi,
it.
Hank Summer. I'm from Chetsport. I'm an observer from a neighboring county and township, and excited to be part of these monthly meetings.
Yeah, you're from Delaware County, yes?
Yes, from Tretford, Delaware County.
Right. Oh, that's Chester County. We'll take that.
Okay, fair enough.
And I was just on the phone with Delco, so I'm glad you were able to get here. And Steve, long time no see, Steve.
I guess that's me. Hi, everybody. I'm on the West Town Historical Commission.
Okay.
Glad you're here. And then we have Kate Clifford, but you're looking at somebody. So if I just called you when you're distracted, sorry.
No, it's fine. Just I have two screens. Yeah, I'm Delaware County Planning Department. And
Right.
working with America 250 in Delaware County. So try and get on
See,
these
hey,
when I can.
it works. Delaware County, Chester
Yeah.
County, we're all together. I used to live in Drexel Hill. This is all good.
And in the revolution, it was all one.
That's right. We're
Yeah.
going back that far. Yes. And mashlaw@hotmail.com. It's
Hi,
good.
I'm Mark
You?
Ashton, and
Mark Ashton, right.
I'm the chair of the West Pikeland Historic Commission.
I'm
For the
glad you're
moment.
here, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Jackman, how are you today? Bertha,
Oh, I'm fine, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I'm with Mount Zion AME Church in Devon,
Yep.
and also with the Path to Freedom, one of the 4 themes.
I'm glad you're here.
Same.
And who else? Is it Kate? Kate Clifford?
Agree.
You already saw me.
I'm sorry, you disappeared and you went to another part of my screen. I'm like, wait a second.
Oh.
There you are. You disappeared
Yeah.
from Delaware County.
Well, I just
Now I know
stopped
who
my
you are.
video.
Okay.
I'm
And
still
Bob,
here.
I'm not going to get, yeah, go ahead. Jay Erb is on the line. Jay, you want to introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, Jay Erb. I'm a park ranger with Chester County Parks and Preservation.
Glad you're here. S. Brown.
Yes, this is Steve Brown from West Callan Township Historical Commission. We're all the way out on the far western end of the county, and anxious to see what everybody's talking about today.
You had quite an energetic group at the Thornberry Farm gathering in June. West Callan did.
Good.
Kathy Miller and Kaz Kennedy.
See. Well, I won't hit the video because I can't see which button it is.
Don't worry, just let us know who you are.
I'm
And
with Friends of Bernard Station.
Ah, okay.
And let me see. There we go.
Hi.
I'm with Friends of Bernard Station, and I know a few of you, and I met some of you at that Thornberry
Yes.
event, which was a great event. So I haven't been on here for a little bit, and happened to be on the computer, and I was like, maybe I'll chime in.
That's great. I'm glad you're here.
The Underground Railroad station in Pocopson Township.
Okay.
Very good. Good. And Kaz Kennedy, Laura, that's not your other side, right? Who's Kaz Kennedy? Kaz Kennedy is going to be mysterious today. We can allow that. Whatever works. Okay.
Okay, got it.
Oh, you're there.
I'm here. I'm with the Mansion House Foundation at Radley Run, and we're working to restore the historic structures in Radley, and also providing some community education.
Very good. We were just at Radley Run at the Mansion House for a board meeting a couple months ago, so thank you. And then we have, Jenny, I missed you. Sorry about that.
No worries. Good afternoon, all. My name is Mr. Ajane Livingston. I still have a few more years before retirement, so I'm working alongside Karen to help get the word out about 250.
Virginia is one of our outreach officers. And then we have 2 of our marketing staff, Emily and Beth, hard at work. You want to introduce so people can hear your voice for a sec?
Hi, I'm Beth Corrales. Like Karen said, I work on the marketing.
And hi, I'm Emily. I also work on the marketing.
Very good. So for today's Zoom in, we have a PowerPoint that we'll share with folks. Wow, I've been flipping through it as we were talking. Sorry about that. Didn't know that. And we have a PowerPoint to share. was just as a couple overviews. And what we really want to start by focusing on is last week, my gosh, it was only a week ago in Philadelphia, there was a national convening of across the Commonwealth, and a few folks on this Zoom call attended. So we want to share what you discovered when you were at the national convening. And then we'll get into more of sharing what's going on locally as much as we can until 1 o'clock. We're taking whiteboard notes on this, so ideas will go up and online, and that we can keep track. And I just see Leslie Garnick just zoomed in. Hey, Leslie.
Hey.
So we're just going to go through. So here we are. So you'll know what 250 is about, and rest assured, if you want us to come out and talk to any organization you're affiliated with about 250, that's what we're doing a lot of these days. Just say the word, send an email, send a text, or track us down, and we'll come talk about 250 and what it's all about in Chester County. And really throughout the region, as you know, we have plenty of things going on already. So we're really trying to get the word out so that people will know 250 is coming. And so individuals and organizations of any kind can really do things all year throughout 2026 and with Chesco, Delaware County 27 and 28, because there's a lot of things that happened. And we want to tell the stories of our involvement with the founding of the country and what we're still doing to help build a more perfect union for all. So we have these heritage themes that are specific to our power of place in Chester County. And many of you know and are working on different heritage themes, and some are overlapping. And we also have an awful lot of unfinished business and evolving values that are part of these themes and beyond. So we're trying to lift up the places that are currently doing things, and also any event, whether it's a heritage event or a, part of me wants to say secular almost, any community event, just put an overlay of red, white, blue, liberty, and justice for all, conversations about freedom, whatever. So that's what we're focusing on, helping people understand for 250. And I just see Tim Compton zoomed on. Hey, Tim. And we were just at Historic Yellow Springs, and there's a lot going on there too. So welcome in. So I am going to go to the national convening, unless people have a question on 250 overall for Chester County. Can we jump into the national convening portion? Yeah, Laura says. Yeah, okay. So thank you, Angela, for finding online in a mysterious place the program for the national convening of states and partners that took place last year or last week. This PowerPoint
Feels
plus
like last
program feels, yeah, a lot going on. This program plus this PowerPoint and recording, you'll be able to find on our events page. Plus, we'll send it out to everybody who's signed up and participated in this event afterwards. So with the National Convening of States and Partners, sponsored by Pennsylvania's 250, it took place last week for 3 days, over 3 days, down in Old City. So some of you were present on Friday at the welcome reception, and then Saturday, you had some morning sessions and then some breakouts in the afternoon. And I can see, and then, yeah, the afternoon breakout sessions were by national, county, and then nonprofit affiliate groups. And then some of you may have returned on Sunday to go to the sports day over at Carpenter's Hall, oh, at the press conference, and then the sports. Oh my gosh, I'm still on the nighttime. So dinner at the Please Touch Museum, and then the sports day was Sunday over at Drexel University. So the overall program is available now. And also, David, you actually took some really great photos. So we got the official photographer. So as you want to explain, David, as you walked in, there was a reception Friday night?
Yeah, as Karen showed, the event was split out into various components. The opening was at the Independence Visitor Center, the terrace overlooking Independence Hall. And we were greeted by the spirit band for the 76ers. All throughout the event, there were a lot of talking heads. One of the folks we saw most consistently was Cassandra Coleman, who is the executive director of America 250 PA. She spent time with the Governor Wolf administration, and also we heard more than once that she was the mayor of Exeter Borough in Pennsylvania, and she was one of the youngest mayors in Pennsylvania history. She was joined by Patrick Burns, who is the head of the board of directors. He's an entrepreneur in Philadelphia, and was the lead behind something called Fresh Grocer at various locations throughout. One of the keynote speakers on Friday evening was the gentleman you probably recognize on the right from the seminal TV show Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. And he
Carson.
was
Carson.
talking about his family connections. Their family owns, Carson Kressley, has owned a farm in central Pennsylvania for multiple generations, and talking about growing up in Pennsylvania and his influence, or how Pennsylvania influences him.
I thought
So
Carson
it
was
was
from Coatesville originally. Isn't that the Coatesville connection?
I
The
don't
farm is
recall
not
the name
far
of
outside of Coatesville.
Oh, yeah.
the community, but he spent a lot of time talking about the farm he grew up on. They raise prize horses, so he's a horseman. And it was kind of a rah-rah, isn't Pennsylvania great? Look what Pennsylvania did for me and my career. But the key was for us to be able to interact with other participants throughout the show and throughout the long weekend. The heart of the conference was at the National Constitution Center the following day, and my colleagues who are on the line, Jim and Rob, can provide notes, but it was multiple panel discussions on different themes. One of the first was Title 250 Across the Nation, with the Lieutenant Governor of Massachusetts, Kim Driscoll, the former Lieutenant Governor of Ohio, Nancy Hollister, the Secretary of State of Rhode Island, Greg Amore, and then, of course, Senator Casey. After them was a walk through Pennsylvania history with Pennsylvania's former governors. You can see on the right. You may recognize Governor Wolf. It was moderated by the son of Governor Thornburgh, David Thornburgh. And then Governor Rendell was there, along with Tom Schweitzer.
Richard Schweiger.
Yes, thank you. And then finally, after a brief conversation from the director of the Constitution Museum, Jeffrey Rosen, and the superintendent of Independence, Steve Sims, we went into what I thought was a very provocative and helpful panel discussion that really played into much of what we've talked about here in Chester County. They're talking about it here in America 250 PA, and that was a common thread throughout the entire weekend. And the title of the session was Voices for All of the 250th, Diverse Stories and Unique Communities. And there were thought leaders, directors of various cultural institutions, including Ashley Jordan, the president of the African American Museum, Dr. Scott Stevenson, president of the Museum of the American Revolution, and then Dr. Josh Perlman, who's a senior advisor to the Weizmann National Museum of American Jewish History. And again, I think Rob and Jim will share some of their thoughts on what they took away from these sessions. The morning session ended with a conversation of host cities. So there were representatives from the Office of the Mayor in Philadelphia, the director of the South Carolina Revolution 250, Megan Brown, who plays a role in the City of New York 250, and then also a representative from the Office of the Mayor of Boston, all of which were kind of framing and talking about their actions and activities. The heart of the program in the afternoon were breakout groups going down into, for myself as well as Jim and Rob, municipalities and counties. And we had a panel discussion, and unfortunately, a too limited amount of time for dialogue. And then we ended the evening. If I can share my screen, I'll just quickly show some images. We went to and were treated with entertainment at Carpenter's Hall, as well as cocktails. And then from there, we went to the Please Touch Museum. For those of you who aren't aware of it, Memorial Hall, the only permanent building from the 1876 Centennial Exhibition. And there was various entertainment, but playing into the theme of diversity for the evening, one of the high points was a youth group from Chester called the House of Macy Lago. It's a Chester-based youth group that focuses fashion, runway modeling, and dance to empower young women and men to love themselves by building self-esteem and fighting against depression, mental health, and anxiety. And they really rocked the house that night.
David, are you trying to share your screen so we can see it, or?
Oh, you can't see it?
No. Can anybody see it?
Okay.
I can see it.
You see the program, right?
I can see the video.
Karen, you have to stop sharing.
Yeah, Karen, you have to stop sharing. There we
Try
go.
again. There we go.
Okay.
We can see it. We can't hear it.
Alas. But it gives you an idea of the tone and tenor, and it was great. And of course, they finished with fireworks for all of us. My greatest takeaways, especially within working on the county level, I was able to make connections to the 250 coordinators in Delaware, as well as Maryland, as well as Massachusetts. And all of them are, because especially Maryland and Delaware share part of our story with the 17-7 Philadelphia campaign, they're extremely interested in building bridges and connecting with us to not only tell stories in 2027, but to see where we can collaborate and cooperate in 2026. The director of the Massachusetts, called Revolution 250, is really interested in connecting with us because of the fact that in 2027 with the Philadelphia campaign, there were major players from Massachusetts on the battlefield and in the encampment, and he would love to make connections where they can share resources and perhaps participate. Overall, it was great to meet, great to see people, great to meet others. Because it was a very concentrated period of time, the most challenging thing was in the afternoon with the session of municipalities. The way they structured it on paper, it felt like there would be a lot of dialogue and questions and opportunities for us to talk and share. For better or for worse, the session, which lasted from 12:15 to 2 o'clock, was with three panelists from the PA 250 Westmoreland County advisory lead, the lead for America 250 in Philadelphia, Danielle DeLeo Kim, and then Ed Stoddard, the Center County advisory member for the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau. Unfortunately, they only left 15 minutes out of that time for us to share and talk, but I think at least for me, and I'll let Jay and Rob share, it was great to capture some pearls of wisdom, some thoughts, and to see that all of the organizations are really trying to use their agency, their connections to reach out to all constituencies, all citizens, and really make PA 250 and America 250 welcoming to everyone. So those are my notes and my picks. Certainly welcome Rob and Jim to share their thoughts of what we had a chance to experience.
So I just got Rob and Jim's notes and read them within the last hour. Thank you for putting them on my emails. I put Rob's first because it came first. I'm wondering if, Rob, can you kind of go through, you have some broad lessons and other people who were there, like Jim, it's clear that you and Rob were at the same conference. Your notes are here as well. But maybe, how about you add some color to, as Rob kind of goes through the points. And Laura, you were there too, and anybody who was there. So Rob, would you mind?
Sure.
And Angela, David, just chime in, but Rob, you got to outline.
I want to butt in here before Rob, because I know he's going to do a great job and do a lot of detail. But from a very high level, I have to thank Rob for signing me up for this thing, because he literally stumbled on the event and an invitation to the America PA Facebook group.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that's been dogging a lot of us is, the communications, up the line, to the PA group, and I don't even know where the national group is.
Oh,
and so this
there, Jim.
very, very large event and very expensive event to put on was kind of hidden under a rock. And thank you, Rob, for finding it and getting us down there.
Then battling to be able to register people. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It was hard, right, Laura? Yeah.
All right, Rob, I took a minute of your time.
Yeah, so thank you, David. Thank you, Jim. Yeah, I wanted to go up to my one more. There you go.
How about that one?
So David set it up very nicely with the who spoke, and what these next few charts are is kind of a summary of what they said. The very sort of broad-minded people, former governors, spoke on the topics on the left, and I thought their themes were great. Ed Rendell talking about how to restore civics in our local education as well as just local discussions. Rosen from the National Constitution Center on how we should remember sacrifices that were done in the past and how we can bring that story forward to today. And again, this is for thinking about how we do programming and events, how we upgrade our institutions here locally in Chester County. From the National Park Service, the superintendent of the Independence Mall, he shared that all rangers are storytellers, and he encouraged all of us to learn how to be good storytellers, because that's really the most meaningful way that lessons are learned. From the American
And
Jewish
Rob,
history.
Rob,
Go ahead. Oh, sure.
Rob, I was
Angela.
going to say the fellow from the Constitution Center, he, to me, had the most profound quote of the day. He's the one that had the Benjamin Rush quote that said, "The war is over, but the revolution is not."
Yeah.
And that's really what everybody kept pushing
Yeah,
forward.
that is a
Idea of
heritage that-
inclusion, exclusion. It was very profound.
theme.
Sorry, Rob.
No, no, and thank you, Angela. I'll please others, chime in as Karen asked, because I'm gonna, as my one friend says, I speak at 50 miles an hour and gust to 70. So from the Jewish History Museum, I thought this was great. The melting pots of our past are, now the melting pots for today. We can think about local context for that. There was, kind of a highlight of the Black History Trail up in Boston. The American History, the Revolutionary Museum, another great quote: "Who gets to tell the stories, and how do they get to tell them?"
Yeah.
Again, I think we can internalize that locally. And then for those of us who are actually, on the preservation side of our communities, we think about interpretation, we think about preservation, but the chair of the American Association of State and Local History said, and to be at the table, to be at the table where decisions are made. And I think, too often we're excluded from those discussions, especially when, planning discussions are occurring. The 4 representatives from the cities, I was very excited to hear that tall ships are returning. It's been too long. So, I have relatives in Boston, so I'm going to make my way up there. This idea of tiger teams that span the organizations in our governance seems to be well honed, at least amongst the cities. So I think that's a theme that we can do locally. We're certainly doing it at the county. New York City, kind of the usual folks, but I thought they also brought in, their museums and higher education were somewhat unique. This idea of toolkits
And
for
it's their
block.
400th.
Yes, they have
It's
a
their
big,
400th birthday.
yeah, they have a big one. So they have toolkits for neighborhoods, and you're going to see one theme that comes through all of this, which is getting very local. So New York is very focused on, how do they help neighborhoods celebrate. Philadelphia, I was a little surprised to hear that we're going to have a 16-day concert.
From Juneteenth to 4th of July. The Wawa
Yeah,
Club.
so
Yeah.
I actually counted it up. It is 16 days. So that's another reason why, we're going to be jammed with visitors. We know about the commemoration of the Army and the Marine Corps, but, they put it in the sense of national service, not just the commemoration of those 2, organizations from 1775, I guess. And then it was great to have a Charleston visitor, and I thought this was actually very interesting. He talked about the different groups of the time: loyalists, patriots, pacifists. We of course know that here in Greater Philadelphia, but that was the schism back in the day, and we got through it, not easily. But I think that's a lesson for today that we can think about as well.
And Bob Sheedy, I remember you talking about that at Thornbury Farm and how great that would be for discussion groups and yeah, interesting. Yep. Reinforces that one.
And then to Charleston's credit, they said, hey, we're just the centroid of the state. We want people to get out to their 46 counties, get out of the city, get off the highways, go visit, the local scenes, which plays very well for Chester County.
Yep.
And then they ask questions about, you know, how to be safe while shining, how to co-create amongst all stakeholders. And of course, you know, funding came up several times and the unevenness of the funding, and we know that in Pennsylvania. So
Most definitely.
the list on
Well,
the left,
Boston had a full page ad in the New York Times this morning. Boston had a full page ad for Massachusetts 250.
there you go. Come visit Boston. I'm on my way.
Yeah, for those tall ships. First tall ship for Rob to climb on.
Yeah, one thing I think we don't spend enough time thinking about is this list of activities that Pennsylvania offers. You know, they seem in some ways, you know, kind of small, the trees, the bells. But as I listen to some of the speakers who have been engaged in these projects, they can be quite meaningful. So engaging the colleges, engaging the school groups, you know, the ecological connections with the tree plantings, the bells for history. These are all links. And so these are hot links. So anybody who's interested in connecting and looking at these programs, I think these could be better explored. And they're certainly looking for all counties in Pennsylvania participate. So I don't know that I've heard that our group is looking at how to leverage these other than Pennsylvania Day. That I know we're very active there.
There was a really interesting woman, sorry, Rob, talking about the tree planting, and it was up State College Way, and how meaningful that was. That, like you were saying, people were like, yeah, it sounds kind of corny, but she said it brought out the community. They loved it.
And we'll get our Liberty trees. We have 2 of them growing for Chester County. I'm looking at the spring now. And Laura, do you know anything more about that? Laura Kennedy, anything about the Liberty tree plantings or no?
No, the trees aren't really my thing.
Okay, just
The
make
grove,
sure.
yeah, we have a separate
Separate
conservatorship
growth
for the grove, yeah.
Yeah, we've been told by 250 for the spring, perhaps. And it's part of the original Liberty tree.
I was actually heard from the Pennsylvania Masons, who are co-coordinator of it, and it was postponed from the fall because they wanted to plant the trees on the same day. And alas, the State Historic Site, Brandywine Battlefield, was not open on the day that they wanted to plant. So the Masons, being the coordinator or co-coordinator, is working with 250 to coordinate a spring planting when both Paoli and Brandywine are actually open to the public.
We'll get there.
And I met one of the artists who's doing the bell for the Valley Forge this morning, Randall Graham. He lives in Westchester.
Great. Yeah, we did circulate on social media the applications for that. So that's good to know that somebody actually got chosen. And we do have Westchester University involved in the Direct Effect Innovation Challenge. And Unionville, I think, was schools were involved in the Young Heroes Outreach Program. So we try to send the information out so that people can pick up on it. Yeah, good.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, but what we don't get back from 250 is that they've actually chosen a group. So we can't, and so yeah, there is some communication issue that is one-way communication is hard. So we chase after them, find it.
I will say the fellow Andre, I'm forgetting his last name right now, he is the Southeast
Castillo.
coordinator. So if we want to really press and get, you know, more support, I think he'd be quite happy to help Chester County more.
Yeah, that's Andre Castillo. He came to do PA Day with us, and he is great. He also told me at PA Day that they only had like a dozen people running the whole shebang until July, and now they've hired some more capacity. So, you know, I agree that the communication has been lacking, and that there could be some better things, but you know, they're young and they're stretched, and I do think they're trying.
Yep. Thanks, Rob.
Andre is, I don't know, Rob, if you had a chance or Jim to talk with him, but he's very interested in connecting with people and resources here in Chester County who can tell stories for their podcast. And he wants names and contact information so they can share our stories and our resources. He also stated when I spoke with him about some of our communication issues that in these weeks following the gathering, they are working internally to try and resolve some of the issues with particular counties, including Chester, to ensure that there's more two-way communication. So I've reached out to him and asked him to keep us in the loop and please give us a holler if they've come up with a solution.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that he's local to Westchester.
He is.
Yeah, that's why it's a little strange, but we'll get there. We are.
My overall view of the afternoon session was that Chester County is actually way ahead of most localities in the state. You know, Philadelphia is on its own path and being this combined city county and having, you know, over 1 million people. They've subdivided the city into neighborhoods and are looking to develop the programs there so they can get out, you know, to the different groups. And they seem to have made some really good contacts and really good progress, you know, from the neighborhood standpoint. I was really interested in what Westmoreland had to say because Westmoreland County is just east of Allegheny County where Pittsburgh is. And Westmoreland is very red. It's a very conservative area of the state. And the person there is saying, you know, that she's so far not had a lot of problems, but it is definitely a thought that there are people who won't go there because of the reputation, you know, the area has. And so it's a bit of a challenge to be inclusive, you know, in that atmosphere, you know, but she's working on it. You know, the State College is, you know, my sense is very casual kind of buddy thing. And, you know, they're going to kind of do their own thing and be happy in Happy Valley. So I thought it was 3 interesting, you know, different points of view. And going back to, you know, the morning, it was very much about the big idea. And, you know, you can't sit on the balcony of the Constitution Center when you're staring at the Bill of Rights on the wall and looking out the window at Independence Hall and kind of understanding, you know, there's a big message. And I think everybody's on that. And it was a very, you know, broad group of speakers from, you know, lots of different political backgrounds. But the message was consistent and clear about being inclusive, that there's unfinished business, and that we all have a stake in this. And so it kind of was left very much, in my opinion, again, dangling because, you know, we have an election coming. Nothing is really funded yet anywhere. The money that's coming out in most places seems to be coming from tourist dollars, hotel taxes and such. And so on the one hand, the 250 is being run as kind of a tourist opportunity, but the whole history and big idea is still, I think, kind of waiting to see, you know, how it will be funded, if it will be funded, and in what context it will emerge. So the whole thing, the timing of it was interesting, the messaging and understanding where we fit in. So, you know, kind of onward, as they say in Wisconsin.
Onward, as we say here too.
Jim, on the note of funding, Jenny and I talked with Cassandra yesterday. again
Cassandra
after the
Coleman,
conference.
explain who
Yes.
she is to folks, please.
Yes, and we talked about funding, of course, and she said she had gone to the Met for funding for all of these projects, because as we know in Chester County, there's like $9 million full of needs that have been identified. And these are legacy kind of projects, right? And tourism will attract tourism and the tourism economy. And she was not hopeful. But we will post on the website and send out the grant, the single grant that they mentioned at the funding afternoon meeting that I went to. And it's for events, and they'll give out, they got $1 million, and which they'll re-grant in 5, 10, and 20,000 amounts. Beginning, I think, next year, of course.
I have those notes right here, Angela. It's going to be in two periods. The first one will be November 1st to December 15th of this year, and the second one will be April 1st to May 15th of 25. And those will be for $5,000, $10,000, or $20,000 applications. There's $1 million, as you said, available total, and it will be broken up into two $500,000 increments.
And that's for the whole state, by the way.
Yeah. So I have we actually sponsored that session. Founding Forward did. So I have Christian Cassidy Amstutz is his name.
Yeah.
I have his information. I'll put it in the chat for everyone.
That would be great.
But that like the application's not open yet, really. And there's not really anything to be found about it yet. So I think that it would just behoove everybody to kind of get a good idea of if they're going to apply, what they're going to apply for, so that once we have more information, you can kind of just go with it.
And when we get information, we'll send it out on social media and evites to everybody who's signed up for our 250 list. So we'll get it out as much as we can once we find it.
I would say funding was a universal a subject of conversation.
Rob, we hit these themes pretty much on the last page? You want to speak more about those? And
well, just this is the top level, sort of the what can you do, and I think all of us who attended, engaging young people, making it fun, help those locally, very locally. For Tom, engage the unexpected. There was a comment about starting with master gardeners, which I don't think anybody had thought of. Meeting with the local groups, allowing local groups to drive the agenda, and then we, support them as they think through their development. Clever things like talking to your transportation coordinators and your EMTs about safety for these events. And it really is not too late, just drive on starting right now.
And Jim, these are your notes. Anything to add? Angela, Laura, anybody else who was there?
I don't know if I'm going to make it in time. Are you talking?
I really think the idea of untold stories, and that the work is just beginning. As I said before, the war's over, the revolution is ongoing. And that was really a powerful message. And to again, the people from the various museums, African American and the Jewish Museum, it was about inviting people in.
Yeah, and where and how that happens is still, it's up for grabs, but it's out there and everyone agrees that it needs to happen.
So that goes back to We the People events.
Yes.
I'm going to pull this page, which I think, of course, there's the heritage sites with our themes throughout the region in Chester County. But when we really look at inclusion, We the People, and I find what we're being called on more and more, is to work with different groups to kind of go through these questions so that groups can come up with their own, what are we going to do throughout 2026 for 250? So the conference gives guidance and ideas, but these are the things that people are really starting to think through in groups. And it's some basic questions. We'll send them out again. And the fact is, whenever you want, just give us a call, text, or flag us down, because we will come out and work through the different key questions that seem to help frame some of the planning. So this is a very tiny toolkit, but it's coming up with some pretty amazing results for people coming up with ideas about what they want to do for 250. That's already maybe an overlay of something they're already doing, but more pressing. And as we look at it, again, our timeline, we're right here, and we knew that the election would be taking a lot of airtime up. We're all going to have to come together. And then here we are throughout 2026, and for Chester and Delaware County and into Valley Forge through 27 and 28 with legacy projects that we set up that will last for at least the next 50 to 100 years, I'm hoping.
Aaron, I want to come back to, again, to our infrastructure, which I think is actually very good and probably one of the better ones that I heard, from the presentations. We have a new tool out there that was announced just before the conference, and that Chesco Planning has used their incredible mapping department to put together a layered map where we can start to see where our theme and theme areas actually are and overlap.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rob and I in particular, being map geeks, are going to kind of really get into this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I see it as, the Christmas tree waiting to be decorated, because it's a great structure. And I think themes are one of the real strengths we have as a county in organizing things. So being able to map these and let people know what their neighbors are doing is going to be incredibly helpful to us all. Because that's what I get asked all the time. You're like, where do I fit in? And I think this is going to, the mapping is going to tremendously help that.
Or just really what I'm finding is an understanding of the themes first, so people can go, oh yeah, that is what I do. And there's other people who are also part of that bigger story. So let's get the path together so that visitors will have a more complete sense of it, not an isolated sense. Yeah. So that's just why an understanding of the themes that are specific to Chester County that work for 250 are a way to organize things if one chooses to do so. And if one finds they're not in the themes, that, or there's other things in it, just the overall civics and power of the people, we the people on top of that also is an overlay. Yeah. So that's the stuff that we do when we go out with groups throughout the community to help figure out what you want to do for 250 and how we can help it along.
Karen, can I ask a question?
Yes, please, Penny.
We're all wondering about the where to put our energy. Do you do that for 2026, which will be a huge rush for attention, probably, or do you, in our situation with the Battle of Brandywine, Paoli, and then Washington's troops coming to us in our area, and the cannons, in 2027.
Yeah.
Yes, I
You're
saw
getting
that.
ready.
I'd love a copy of that. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll send it out. Yeah, most definitely. Everything we're doing is setting it up, not just so it's a one and done. It's really upgrading more and getting more interactive so that as people come in, maybe and touch a few things here, they'll be back. And so you're right, Penny, for what you're doing. And even Valley Forge, we will go back and show the links so that you can see what Valley Forge is talking about doing. Their focus, and of course they'll be open the whole time, but they're really going to focus on the march in, overwintering, and the march out. So the things we're putting in place are not just for, they're definitely not just for the 4th of July in 2026. They're not even just for the whole year 2026. They're 2026 and thereafter. So yes.
Penny,
Yeah,
I have a question for Penny.
Yeah.
right.
Penny, are you part of French and Pickering Trust?
Yes, I am.
So, I'm part of the Heritage Sites Legacy Committee, and I've been trying forever to get a hold of Bill Gladden relative to your site at Warwick. And I think it would behoove
good.
your group to become inclusive with both the Iron and Steel Partnership, of which Jay Erb's online, David Blackburn. I don't think we've seen any representatives from there, but also you overlap with the Philadelphia campaign. And there's certain interpretation, additional interpretation that can be done at Warwick Furnace relative to the Philadelphia campaign. So I don't have a lot of time, as I mentioned earlier. I have to run off, but if you could possibly go through Karen or make that connection to become part of the Iron and Steel Partnership to start with, but also, this is all about connectivity, and your story overlaps with Philadelphia campaign too.
Yeah,
Um,
that's right.
So
Good, thank
We
you.
found you,
while I
Penny. This
have
is going to be helpful.
While I have the mic and I have to get going, I also want to add relative to um, different heritage sites, and I'll use Yellow Springs as an example because Tim Compton's on now. At the last 250 Commission meeting, Michelle Kitchline, who's heading up the funding, had mentioned reaching out to the various sites to see or to get a wish list from them of what projects they might want to try funding, and get that through to us, and also what grants they might be pursuing. The effort here is that we don't duplicate the process, and we know what's going on from your end and vice versa. So I can tell you right now, the Agricultural Committee, down in Oxford, have put together just that, a wish list of projects they want to fund. And I would reach out to anyone on here that is part of a potential heritage site, like Tim, Historic Yellow Springs, to do the same.
Karen and I have been visiting with historic sites as well, Mark.
Yeah, Mark, we got to catch you up. We've been out there, right, Tim?
I was gonna say,
He's working on
Well,
it.
I'm not saying Tim specifically, but last but not least, Karen, we can talk later, but I was contacted by board members of Paoli Memorial Association.
Right, we know.
And
Yeah, Mark, let's cover that offsite.
Yeah, we do.
This is a community Zoom.
Yep.
So it's not just a 250. Yeah, I'll find you.
Yep.
Yep.
So that's all I have. I got to go.
I'll catch you. I got to come over to take photos at Marshallton.
Sounds good. Okay.
Thank you. Very
Bye.
good. So we are at the 1 o'clock mark, and Leslie now has a huge cat there. Oh. So thank you for the update on what happened in Philly last weekend. We'll send this out to everybody, and it is recorded as well. And there's more to come. As you know, every month we do a Zoom in to, so if you're fine keeping the schedule, and if you want to stay on the line for just individual questions, Angela and I at least will stick around.
And look for the Christian Cassidy Amstutz 250 PA granting thing for any of
we'll send things out on social media when we get them.
Mm-hmm.
And we will, just so you know, we'll be starting a series of online resource workshop trainings. So that's a double schedule we'll send out. So it's the fourth Friday every month will be a Zoom in just to talk about what each group region is doing for 250. And the third Friday monthly is resource workshops, it looks like. So yeah, you'll get some double Zooming. So thank you very much for everything you're doing as we're gearing up more and trying to build some more resources. That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Questions, comments, observations? Lafayette and next Chester is next Saturday. Thank you, Kate. Very good. Anything else on the chat that we missed? Comments from people? Ideas? I'd say onward. All right.
Yes.
Keep getting the word out, and we're trying to get funding pools together. So it just keeps working and working. So please, thank you for everything you're doing, and please keep in touch. All right.
Thank you.
Good. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks everyone.